What animated movie affected you most emotionally and why? Brother Bear, I have a story to tell you. It's kind of about a man and kind of about a bear. But mostly, it's about a monster. Gets me every time. Those monsters are really scary, especially with those sticks. Gets me every damn time. Hearing Coda say I don't think I like this story always makes me want to cry. Treasure Planet. It was my dad's favorite. I really relate to Jim Hawkins. I'm Still Here, Jim's theme, by John Jesnick, lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls, is a banger and really relatable. It captures the feeling of wonder and adventure that I desperately wish I had in my life but never have and likely never will. Now, you listen to me, James Hawkins. You've got the makings of greatness in you. You've got to take the helm and chart your own course. Stick to it, no matter the squalls. And when the time comes you really get to test the cut of your sails and show what you're made of. Well, I hope I'm there catching some of the light coming off you that day. John Silver. Underrated movie for sure. One of my all-time favorites. Morph was by far my favorite character, smiley face. The Land Before Time. I hadn't seen that film in probably 15 years, used to watch it as a kid and related to the main character Littlefoot. Time goes by and now I'm a grown man, but it was on television. I watched it and at one scene when the mother dies and watching the whole movie generally, all those childhood memories came back to the surface and I was completely choked up, not sure why it affected me so much. I guess I miss how happy I was as a little kid and wish I could feel that way once again, though I know I won't ever again. Have a tree star, friend, maple leaf. I can still remember the music, on a dime. I haven't watched that movie for a terrifying number of years now, but that music. The Fox and the Hound. I'd cry but I always lose it when the old lady is driving Todd to release him back into the wild. Also Coco because it made me think of my grandma at the end. I saw Coco about 6 months after my mother died of Huntington's disease. It was my son's first ever movie in the theater. He was almost 3, and he did great. It was also the first family gathering after my mother died, so it was pretty hard being around her older siblings. The pain of my children never knowing their grandmother hadn't quite sunk in yet until seeing Coco. After the movie my son tells me, "I don't want you to disappear, Daddy." I replied, "I won't disappear if you remember me, I'm barely holding it together at this point." He looks up at me with a smile and says, "I'll never forget you, Daddy." I picked him up and squeezed him harder than ever. I have a lifetime of work making sure they don't forget a wonderful woman they never got a chance to know. Love you, Mom. Edit. Thank you all for kind words and for sharing. It means a lot. To those of you with similar situations, my heart goes out to you. You're not alone. Copper, you're my very best friend. Fucking sobbed, man. I saw this movie right when my elementary school best friend moved away. Coco gets me because I can't imagine leaving my daughter alone like that. A Goofy movie. He just wanted his son to love him. I think any parent of a teenager can relate to what Goofy is going through in that movie. That movie is hard because Max clearly mistreats his dad who really does love his son, but Goofy also doesn't listen to Max who just scored his first date and doesn't enjoy the same things his dad does, like the music in the car. So it hurts to watch both characters act and also not be understood/respected. A Goofy movie. Because I didn't know my dad at the time. That movie really hyped a lot of people up emotionally. It's a great movie because of how it appeals to both age groups. Kids and teens can relate to Max, embarrassed of his dad and increasingly wanting to be on his own while still wanting to please him, and parents can relate to Goofy, wanting to rebond with Max while being reluctant to acknowledge that his son is growing up. Their different priorities conflict, until they learn to compromise and both get what they want out of the experience. They learn to see eye to eye, to put it one way. Plus, Eye to Eye is just a banger on its own merits. Iron Giant. You stay. I go. No following. This was the answer for 10 years. When he closes his eyes and says Superman. It's wrecking me right now just thinking about it. Then up came out. Who built that giant? The Chinese, the Russians, Canadians, I don't care. Wall-E. It just broke my heart how Wall-E was left alone and what all happened. Wall-E knew love more than any of the humans. Define dancing, absolutely gorgeous scene. My favorite part about Wall-E is how well it delivers its story with hardly any dialogue. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.